let's go ahead and get started. Again, good night, everyone, and welcome to another DTools Cloud After Dark webinar. I feel like we need a jingle or something. But thank you guys for being DTools customers, tuning in, and giving us so much helpful feedback. I really enjoy doing these webinars with you guys. So like always, I'm going to breeze through a PowerPoint of our agenda before we dive in. And then at the end of our presentation, we'll be doing a live Q&A. Okay, let's get acquainted once more. I'm Leanne, or LB, and I'm a customer success manager here at DTools. I'll be presenting this evening. Andre is also a customer success manager, and we're here to help you guys train and become DTools cloud experts, successfully implement the software, coach you on best practices, and pass your feedback on to our product and development team. All right, Megan Campbell is your amazing DTools Cloud Account Manager, and she's here to help guide you as you onboard and maximize your use of the software by adding training hours and services and just helping you guys scale your business. And as I'm presenting, Andre and Megan will be answering your questions via chat. Okay, so our topic tonight is purchase orders. So first we're going to cover how to edit your item order statuses in settings, just renaming them and changing the colors if you want. We also have a new bill of materials tab in projects where you'll be updating the same statuses for your materials. Okay, we'll create a PO from one project. Take a look at how to create POs across all projects and add stock items from the catalog. All right, and then we also have a new supplier view that we'll talk about. Okay, I'm going to share some life hacks with you too. If you aren't already, I'll show you guys how to filter between suppliers, systems, brands, phases, and more in your item status view, and how to change the supplier when creating POs and mass update your item statuses too. Okay, and as always, I'll be sprinkling in some of my favorite tips and tricks as I present. Okay, so let's jump in. Again, Andre and Megan will be answering your questions via chat as I present, so please don't hesitate to ask. And then we'll also follow up on any questions that we don't get to tonight. Okay, let's do this. So I'm here on my dashboard now, and we've switched up a few things on the dashboard. There was a drop down here to choose between all or your own opportunities, but now it's to the right here. Okay, and we're going to start doing some more fun things with the dashboard, so keep an eye out for that. That's on the roadmap. And then we're just going to head into settings and take a look at, yep, here in my profile, you can choose what you want to show on your dashboard here too, whether it's my opportunities, all of them, or if you want to switch it up and show projects instead. All right, so while we're here, let's jump into our item statuses. All right, so I'm going to come into project and item statuses. All right, so here's where you can rename those statuses to something that you're more familiar with. For example, you could rename draft to not ordered or PO not sent, and then you can change your colors. Okay, so just define your own ordering process and just make it yours. All right, we can do the same thing for our item install statuses here too. Okay, and something that's a little buried at the very bottom here in settings, you can customize your number formats. All right, so I'm going to select purchase order here. All right, and I can change my prefix or start from a different number. And this is nice if you've already got another system in place for POs and you want to match things up to keep things organized. All right, so let's leave settings and get into a project. Okay, so we're here on my projects tab, and when I'm onboarding new customers, I always encourage them to define not just your sales, but your post-sale process by editing your opportunity and project stages. Please edit your project stages, right? So I have one to invoice my deposit, and then I've created an order materials and a materials received column. All right, so it's just important to know what's happening, when it's happening, and being able to communicate that to your entire team. So if you haven't already, create some project stages here. All right, so let's jump into a project that I'm already ordering equipment for. I'm going to use my Simpson AV. Okay, and then I'm going to come into my project details. All right, and so this tab is new, this bill of materials tab. All right, and so each item in your bill of materials has an item status associated with it. The default is going to be unordered, and then as you start ordering your items and your technicians are doing the work on site, you can always update the status of the items here, right? But I prefer to work from my items tab. Okay, and if you guys aren't already, use our grouping options and our filters to kind of narrow your list of items, right? So if I just wanted to see my, sure, if I just wanted to see all of my episode items, I can filter through here, right? And it's just gonna pull up these items for me. All right, and when a PO has been sent, let me clear this out. The item status is gonna get updated to ordered. All right, but then you're going to need to manually update it to received once that's been delivered. Okay. You can select multiple items to be ordered instead of creating POs one by one. We have this more actions button in the top right-hand corner. You can mass update your item statuses or even change the supplier here. All right, and if you've added items to tasks for your technicians, again, while they're out in the field, they'll be updating those item statuses, so you'll see installed and even picked sometimes. Okay, so let's go ahead and send a PO. I'm going to select my Sunbright TV and create my purchase order. Sure, let's create a new one and continue. All right, so here you'll get your PO details, the name, the number, the quote number, and the products that we've selected are here. All right, and so if you need to, you can come in and edit the cost of the product. Once a PO has been received, it'll show you the dates of when the products were ordered and received, and then you can always change the quantity of the items received too. Right, and you can add more products from other projects or from your catalog here. All right, you can enter your shipping address, shipping methods, the attention for the shipment, and a note for the supplier even. And by default, there are two shipping methods. We have standard and expedited, but you can always create your own in settings too. Okay, and so once everything looks good in your PO, we have this ellipsis here that's going to give you a few different options. You could email this to Snap. You could export it as a PDF and just add it to your own email and send it over. And you can always export these items to a CSV file too, right? But I prefer to just click this Send PO button, all right? And it's going to send it over to sales@snapav.com. And you can always clear this out and add your own rep here too, or send it to your warehouse guy or someone else on your purchasing team. All right. So now I'm going to leave this project or this purchase order, and let's go to our orders tab. Okay, so instead of ordering equipment from the project, you can order it across all projects or from your catalog. And so now we have this nice shiny dashboard. It's brand new. All right, and so let's just go ahead and create a purchase order here. Okay, so again, I can choose to add it from my project here. Right, here's that Homer Simpson project. Okay, can start adding my equipment here, or I can just bypass it and come straight to add stock items and then just start searching my DTools library or my catalog. All right, add that, just choose anyone. All right. And here we are in the PO again. Okay, and now we also have our ready to be ordered tab here. Okay, and I'm just gonna untoggle this for now. So all of these items are ready to be ordered, and some of you might have an approval process where one person sends and approves all purchase orders. So this is really helpful when ordering across multiple projects and creating larger purchase orders to get discounts, for example. All right, so here's where you can find these different items or the items that are ready to be ordered. Okay, and then this is our new supplier view. Right, so if I just wanted to start ordering items from Snap, all right, I'll create my PO. Okay, and it's just going to show me my Snap products here in my projects. All right, so again, a brand new view, super easy to use, and I actually really like this feature. Okay. Back out here, and that's pretty much it on all things purchase orders today. So let's go ahead and get into Q&A, and it doesn't have to be PO specific either.
Thank you, Leanne. Before we jump into Q&A, I also wanted to mention, I know service is kind of the new fresh hot thing. We have done we are doing a 4-part webinar series on different parts of service management. 2 of those webinars have already happened, so I'm going to place a link to view those webinars in the chat below, as well as a link to register for the upcoming webinar, which will be the 3rd of a 4-part series. So if you guys have any questions about those or have any issues registering or viewing the webinars, just let us know. Okay, let's dive into questions. Jason, let me get you muted there. You may need to unmute yourself, Jason, if you have a question. I'll come back to you in just a second, Jason. Okay, Pablo.
Hi, I saw a button for QuickBooks when you were creating a purchase order, and I wanted to know how this all plays with QuickBooks.
Yeah, great question. So you're just gonna push that project, that purchase order over the same way that you would an estimate. All right, so let's actually come into details. All right, and actually we'll jump into this PO. All right. So yep, you just create this PO in your QuickBooks Online. Does that make sense, or is there more to the question, Pablo?
No, so what would be the next steps from there?
So you would create this in your QuickBooks and then you would just generate that invoice.
Okay. So you would continue here and create a purchase order in QuickBooks and you will email through QuickBooks directly?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Question.
think that's it. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Solomon.
Can you push items received over here by the status to QuickBooks, or it's just within details?
Sorry, say that one more time for me. Can you push items?
When you change status from an item to received,
Mm-hmm.
can we push that to QuickBooks, that item received from the PO?
No. So it's not talking to, they're not talking to each other in that way. Yeah, you would
So
have to still,
is there any way we can do received, and that should create the received in QuickBooks? Or have that, I see it's planned inventory management over here and do everything over here.
yeah, I don't think there's a way to
It's
do
like
that.
a multiple step. You do it over here and then you do it back again in QuickBooks, which, you know,
Gotcha. Yeah, we don't have that capability today, but we'll certainly write that up. And I'm sure that they're actually, I think they're working on that. Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, is Kimberly working on a way to have it updated in the item status view?
As far as pushing that over to QuickBooks, we are working on an inventory asset management feature that's in development right now, design at development. But I don't believe it's pushing any item statuses to QuickBooks. I believe it's all self-contained within DTools Cloud.
so is there any way we could get that or that to do that for a feature request? Not for
Yeah,
sure.
You can
We
submit
have
it as a feature request.
beautiful.
thank you. Good question.
Thanks, Solomon. Let me see here. Where was? I know Jason Stevenson has a question and we can't get him unmuted. It's over in the questions box. He's asking about removing pricing from a PO, which I don't think is something that we can do currently, but I don't know if you want to speak more to that, Leanne, or if you have any more information on that to kind of answer that question. Because I think that's been asked a couple of times about removing the cost from a PO. And that, I think it comes back to if the dealer is offering some kind of discount on a particular product, that's not being reflected, or it's not reflected in the cost, or if the pricing is incorrect in the DTools catalog, the cost, there's not a way to update that. So it may just be a future request.
Yeah, we can write that up. And I mean, so they just want to get rid of this number here?
I guess I'll just be able to maybe edit that from directly within the PO.
Yeah, so you can definitely edit, like I could edit this here.
Okay.
I could certainly swap that out.
Okay.
Or just
Awesome.
clear it out altogether.
Got it. Okay. I hope that helped answer the question, Jason. If
So I
not,
hope
just
that answers
yeah.
the question.
If not, just let us know. We can come back to it. And then Jason Arnett, let me get you unmuted. Let's see.
Hey, Jason.
Looks like you still may be muted on your end. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There it
I
is.
didn't realize I had a mic on this computer. So I guess my question is, I mean, doing a PO and all is great, but I mean, typically what I'm using my POs for is to track inventory. So I can say, hey, this is ordered. Hey, click the button, it's received. Now it's in inventory. So I just, and forgive me because I mean, I don't want to sound like a smartass, but I don't really understand quite. I mean, I use the item status tool that we have here. Hey, ready to order, ordered, staged, installed, all that good stuff to kind of repetitively keep track of that. But if the POs aren't really being tied to an inventory management system, uh, what is the real purpose for this?
Yeah, so I mean, we just want to give you guys the ability to just create the purchase order, send it directly to your supplier. You know, the QuickBooks
Oh, I got you.
feature is
Okay.
a
So the ability to say, hey, I got this project, I need to order all this stuff. So that's a nice tool. So I apologize. I kind of didn't see that. I saw the POs class coming and I'm like, oh, inventory is going to be here. Inventory is going to be here. So I guess I was a little disappointed. So, but thanks for
no
the
worries.
answer. And that makes sense. And is there a timeline on the inventory management?
Bobby, can you answer that question, please?
We're targeting Q4 for that. And just to also elaborate on that, Jason, your point on POs being tied into that, we are tying POs into that, just so you know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. I dropped in the chat along with the service webinar information, the link to the DTools Cloud roadmap. I think we've mentioned that before, but just so everybody has it kind of handy, that will show you what is currently being like worked on for upcoming releases, what we're planning for future releases, and then of course what features have been launched in the product. So you can always select a feature request that's in the future under the planning tab and kind of vote on it, on how important it is to you, and then kind of follow along with that feature request as well. So it's helpful and keeps you updated. Joe.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I have a question for you. The other day, I have a project that had about 5 change orders to it. And the change orders, because I know the client and I talked to him about it beforehand, but the change orders I did internally. I did not send them over to him to approve them. And at the end of the project, I just wanted him to send him an update of the whole project, and I could not find a way to do that. Is that possible?
Yes, so if you hit this ellipsis here, you can download your current bill of materials, and this is going to have those change orders with it.
Okay.
This is going to be the updated one. So the original, and then we have the current one. And the current, again, has all those change orders.
And once you click that, does it give you an option to send it off as an email?
Yeah, so let me jump into one that I have purchased. I mean, change orders on, sure. All right. Looks good. So yep, I'm going to download this. All right, so yes, you could send this off to your client. And then where is my change order? Oh, here it is. So this has been updated with these Leon speakers here. So yeah, just send this over to your client after those change orders have been made.
I see. Okay, I just couldn't figure out how to do it.
No worries, great question. Yep, it's this ellipsis here, and download the current bill of materials.
Okay. And that's done from
We're in the project.
projects. You're in projects.
You got it.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
John.
Yeah, so I'm a technician and I was updating the items inside of a project the other day and had to go through and select, different like wire path stuff, rise cable things, and occasionally I'd come across like an rack nest and it would be like a router or something. It would be hard to differentiate between what items to select and update the status on to being like staged or installed or something. And I also noticed like you can't select from the item status page inside the project. You can't get like a detailed view of the characters in the description would go too far and it would be hard to identify which things I was selecting exactly. But I also noticed that when I was clicking the checkboxes, it was kind of hard to keep track of more than 7 or 8 checkboxes without clicking somewhere, and then automatically it selects one, and all the time I spent trying to select things. Is there a better method of going through and making those kinds of selections?
Are we in this view, or are we in the field user view when we're looking at a task and sorry?
That view?
This one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when selecting multiple items, it was getting hard to.
Well, like if you would click slightly between, it would lose all of that had been checked and would just select one.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. Okay, we'll take this one offline and take a deeper look into this together, and then maybe I can get one of our product managers on the call, and then yeah, it might just be a UI fix here.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anything else, John?
Yeah, is there an easy way to adjust like the distance on I've seen your labels are longer than mine on my screen. Is there an easy way to adjust like quantity item, kind of the Excel grid?
Not today. My monitors are kind of wide, and that's probably why. But yeah, it's yeah.
Okay.
Not today.
Well, thank you anyway.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm going to come back to Joe, and then I'll make one more loop for questions. Joe, what was your other question?
So like for example, speakers, in-ceiling speakers, and there's some of them are sold as pairs and some are sold as each item.
Mm-hmm.
But I always associate my speaker brackets to go with the speaker. So when I choose the speaker, it brings the rough end bracket with it. And the problem I was having was, if I chose like a dual voice coil speaker, which uses one bracket, it brings a pair of brackets in, and I cannot. I know I used to be able to with BidMagic. I could put like 0.5 in as a quantity, so it would be like a half of a box bracket or half of two, and so when I put 2 speakers in, it would give me 2 brackets to go along with it. Now I'm getting 2 speakers and 4 brackets. Other than creating my own part number that it just is half of quantity of 2. Is there any other way of doing this?
Not to my knowledge, but it is something that we've heard often, and it is something that we need to work on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll jump in and say that I know that our data team and our development team is doing a lot right now around unit of measure
Mhm.
to help with these types of things. So
Okay.
sorry to interrupt you, LB. I just wanted
No,
to chime in
thank
there. They're doing a lot of work right now to accommodate how we receive unit of measure from our suppliers and vendors versus how you might use them. So you might get those speaker brackets in a pack of 10, but you sell them individually with each speaker.
Right.
So we've got to be able to distinguish between how they are sent to you, how you price them individually, and then how you assign them those items. So we're working on the ability, since pricing is coming from the manufacturers, to be able to do that. It is a fair amount of work, but we are working on it.
Okay. Great.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Zach.
No problem. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else, Joe?
Nope, that's it.
Perfect.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
Thanks, Joe.
Let's see. Jason Arnett, you still you have your hand raised. Did you have another question?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to
Says
make
my
sure.
hand down. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Okay.
There we go. It's okay. It happens all the time.
Down. I thought I put it down. That's why I wondered. I was off track when you called on me earlier. Sorry.
It's all right. No worries. Thank you. Solomon, did you have another question?
Can you create estimates, QuickBooks estimates for QuickBooks Desktop, or that's just QuickBooks Online?
We have the option for both. Yep, the desktop and the online version. So we'll come into your settings, integration, and they're both here.
Okay, but the estimate part I didn't see. I know it push POs that I did in the past, but create estimates.
Yeah, so once an opportunity's been won, you'll get that orange banner at the top, and I think it might even pop up here. Where is my? Yes, you can create your QuickBooks Online estimate here, and you can do the same thing with the desktop. So this isn't the purchase order. This is actually the initial quote with the bill of materials.
Correct. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Solomon. Tony.
Yes, I had a question about opportunities, not projects. I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible to email a proposal to the client and include the floor plans that we uploaded to the opportunities?
Absolutely. So let's jump into this one. All right, I'm going to come into my proposal. And my attachment section. So if you hover over each section, you can add a section this way, or we have this add section text here in green, and you can add your attachment section and then browse out to your own desktop or browse out to all of your quote and opportunity attachments and pull those in. All right, and so I'm just going to put it in present mode. Come down to my attachments. So this is what the client is going to see once you've shared it with them. They can view their plan. Right, move this around, zoom in, zoom out, select the items, and even turn on their coverage shapes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
That was really fast. Did you get all that, Tony?
Yes, I got it. I don't know why I never noticed adding that area.
Okay.
I added attachments before, but I couldn't get them to actually be included, but I see what I was missing now.
Yes, the one below.
Yeah.
Edit, yeah, upload those files here, but this is where I like to add mine.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. And then Joe, it looks like you still have your hand raised. Just do you have another question?
No, I do not. I guess
Okay.
I need to lower my hand.
It's all right. No worries.
Just lowered my hand.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other? We still have a little bit of time. Any other questions? Okay, you know what? I totally missed the top half of our attendee list here. So, David and Adele. Adele, let me come to you first, and then I'll come down to you, David. Sorry, completely looking at the wrong portion of my list here.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So my question, I think, is more on the service side with the buckets and whatnot. With the automation, say, we do a service call and we say we need to schedule a visit, and the technician goes and maybe completes it, and they hit completed. It moves it back to maybe scheduling needed. Are we able to turn that off, or can we move those around? What is the process we can do?
As far as finishing the job, I know there's 3 options at the end of that job as you click finish, right? There is it asks you, are you done with this call? And you have multiple choices whether to come back, and you're gonna come back to schedule a second visit. The other one is to await parts that are being requested or ordered. And then the third one, I believe, is finish or completed the job. So I think maybe they're clicking on the second one, or the first or second one, which is I'm coming back for another visit, or I'm awaiting parts. If they click on the finish, it should come back as ready for payment request.
Really? Okay. So I mean, different parts of the story, but when they're clicking, they're telling me they're clicking completed. But when they click completed, it brings it back in for us to schedule. It's not showing that it's actually completed and we need to bill. Can we turn off this automation where it puts it in its own bucket based on what they select, or?
For that, we can take a look at it and see if maybe there's a bug there.
Yeah, we can schedule like maybe a 15-minute call.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you and we can schedule a call, or maybe even tomorrow morning, and then we'll take a look at it together. But they're
Okay.
basically clicking completed, or they're saying that they're completing it and then it's still at scheduled or at ready for payment request.
Yes, it's kicking it back into the ready for scheduling bucket or scheduled bucket. It's not actually saying completed and letting our accounting department know it's ready for billing.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
we'll
just
look
putting
into
it in its own bucket.
I gotcha. Yep, I'll follow up with you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, Adele. David.
Hello, how are you? I have 2 questions. The first question is, when we're doing a visual quote and we're importing a floor plan, it's very difficult to scroll across that floor plan. I want to know if there's a shortcut or something that I'm missing.
There is. So if you hold down your space bar and then zoom in and out with your mouse, it's a lot easier to use.
Okay, so that's zooming in and out. So if I want to zoom in, say, on the master suite, because I find myself zooming out and then trying to get to the other part of the floor plan. Some of our plans are really big. I mean, they might be, 20 rooms.
Gotcha. So we also have this zoom in feature. So I'm gonna hover over, so I'm hovering over my master suite here, and I'm just gonna bring myself straight there.
Okay, so from right there where you are, if you just want to scroll across that plan, is there a way to do it quickly, or do you have to zoom out?
If I wanted to scroll across the
Yeah, just like
plan,
I think
zoom back
left or right. Yeah,
left or right.
if you're on in the master suite, he wants to see if you can just use your mouse or use a shortcut to go to the right or to the left from that location. Does that make sense,
Correct.
LB?
it does. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, if I came to my master suite and then I wanted to jump to my
Can you
dining room. So I'm here in my master suite and then I want to come to my
well,
dining room.
can you use
It'll,
like your like your arrows on your keyboard from there? LB, will it move left and right? Sorry, I don't have one up to test.
oh, it does actually.
Yeah,
Let
so
me,
like if you zoom back into the master, I just
I
wonder
was
how
just gonna,
fast it moves.
I was gonna suggest, so we do have the shortcuts key in the toolbar at the bottom, and so it is possible to move
Wow.
to
something.
zoom across.
Yeah, but look, see how slow it moves? It takes me forever. So
Oh,
I'm
to
a little
nudge.
frustrated on it. Yeah, because it's a nudge. I'm used to being able to drag anywhere on the floor plan, but I can't do it. So does that need to be? I was trying to figure out if I'm missing something, or do we need that as a feature request? Because that's a small floor plan that you have. We do a lot of commercial properties that are basic stuff, so we don't want to bring it into DTools desktop. We just want to do it here. But we
Gotcha.
can't scroll across the plan. It takes like, 5 minutes to get to one side of the building to the other.
Well, what if you hold down your spacebar and then just move it over like this? Could that work
Okay.
in the,
Let me try that. See, I didn't see that one. I'll try that.
yeah, use your spacebar and then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that might work.
Okay, just keep us posted. Let us know. And
Okay.
maybe we
The
just
other,
need to make the nudge move a little
yeah,
bit faster
yeah, the nudge is
instead
very,
of a
very slow.
nudge.
Very slow.
Okay.
The other question I had was, so we are not a QuickBooks user. We're using Zoho. We want to know if it's a way to export our payment data from DTools and import it into Zoho or to something like Zapier, a third party to bring that data into other applications.
Not today. Not payments.
Or any of the data, really. I mean, right now we're trying to limit the systems that we use. So QuickBooks didn't do everything we wanted, and it was, 3 times the cost of using Zoho platform for what we wanted to do. So now we just want to know how to a way to keep our files upgraded. I know a lot of people asked about inventory and some other questions like that. So, and I'm assuming your API is not open, but I think you guys should probably at least have some type of a Zapier because there's third-party apps that will do it if the data
Tony
is available.
beat me to it. I was going to chime in here and let you know that we are working on APIs and exposing some of those and some webhooks as well. So that's currently in development. So I know we're working on that right now.
Okay, well, those are all the questions that I had.
Cool. And we can export the bill of materials today. But yeah, when it comes to payments, it's limited today.
Right, because
So
see,
we're
we
working
don't.
on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys, it's more on the proposal and project management side, but so we need that data though, because a client makes a payment in DTools, they have a balance. The balance on a different schedule, we don't know what it is, right? So we're entering data twice. So we have to go back to the program and enter what they paid, what they owe. The program creates, but it does something that DTools is, really not designed to do. It keeps track of our payables, and then it sends out text messages and emails automatically, with the statement of account. So that saves us a ton of time.
Hey,
Now we can get this data from D-Tools would be great.
David, who's are using Zoho to process your payments? Is that your payment processor?
No, we use Stripe, but we have Stripe linked with D-Tools, so we have two accounts. Some come through D-Tools, and yes, some comes through the Stripe account on Zoho.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Understood.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Let's see. Pablo, did you have another question, or was it just kind of about what we were chatting about?
No, it was already resolved by chat. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And then Tony, did you have another question?
Yes, I did. It was regarding the service portion of it that I forgot to ask. And that is it at all possible to enter in a service call that has been performed after it has been performed so that it can be in the client history?
Not at this time, but we've heard that before as far as feedback. So that is in our backlog, but thank you for that feedback.
Okay. When is that inventory software portion supposed to release anyways? That you guys mentioned?
We're targeting Q4 of this year. So.
Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. And then it looks like Solomon.
One more question.
Yeah.
Service calls. Can you have a user just to enter service calls and not be tied, when everything else should be closed? Can you set the user for it?
Regarding like permissions?
Let's say correct, permissions for a secretary, just to takes the phone calls, just to enter, project name, problem, just the schedule service button. Correct.
Bobby, that might be a question for you. I don't think there's any permissions currently around service management, correct? As far as like if just you have a service manager and that's all they do is enter in service calls, but nothing else.
Yeah,
Correct.
I don't believe so. If I'm understanding your question correctly, you wanted.
We have the 24/7, and that someone basically pick up the phone after hours and entering everything in the system. Then you come in. It depends on the client. Their service tier, but so after hours, someone else is coming in, and I don't want to give them access to the whole system. But it would be great if we can just have the service part. Open.
In the user groups, there is service permissions where they can only create and manage service calls and not delete or manage service plans or things of that nature. I don't know if it 100% solves your problem, but if you go to permissions and you go to like a new user group, you can just give them create and manage service call permissions.
Yeah, and then just untoggle all of this stuff. They don't have to
untoggle other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's the service over there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It should do it for you.
Yeah, just get rid of all the other stuff and just leave service on.
Right. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. Thank you.
Yeah, and I totally got the answer wrong, so it's okay. Okay. I don't see anybody else's hand raised. Does anybody have a last minute question before we wrap up? If anything comes to mind, don't hesitate to email or open a chat with us, and we can certainly answer any questions you have after the fact.
Yes, thank you guys. This demo was short and sweet, but yeah, if you guys have any more PO questions, feel free to just reach out to us. We're also here in chat. And yeah, just stay tuned for the next webinar. And thank you guys.